But it's the biggest mistake of all. That's why people do sponsorships. They do sponsoring football teams, Formula One. Unless you involve that sponsorship into the brand, you're wasting your time. Should be 20% of money should be on sponsorship, 80% on activation. Okay, hopefully the people who are sponsoring this event are putting their time into activating the sponsorship of the event and not just putting their logos out there. Otherwise, they're not spending their money as good as they can. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead one step. Focus on consistent look. I hear this all the time. Erste Bank was talking about at a conference recently. They got this S thing, I don't know what that's called, and they got an umlaut above it, and they got the red and the blue color, and the red and the blue color's got to be everywhere. They just bought, what, BRD, is it BRD or BCR they bought here? BCR, and now they got the look. And if you go to other markets, they got this color look, and that's like a driver for them. Why is that important? Well, because they say, well, you got to have a consistent look, like it's some kind of a mandate. I keep going, but why? Why are you trying to do? What you should be doing is focusing on customer relevance and integrate that into everything you do. Because I don't understand that little thing above the S. What does that do? Or Raiffeisen has these two things. Does anybody know what the hell that is? Do you know why it's there? Who knows? Why? It's horses. What's that have to do with saving money in a bank or using a credit card?
History.
Who said history?
It's their history. That's where they come from.
From where?
Loaning money to farmers.
Nice try.
History. Old country.
And you're going to do it because you're going to go to Raiffeisen and get a Raiffeisen credit card because they loan money to farmers. Actually, you're right, it's history. It's exactly the wrong history, unfortunately. It means when you go to an inn in Austria 200 years ago, if the inn was safe, it had these gables above the door. So it was a safe place to spend the night. So you got the history right, but a little bit different of the history. But what the hell does that have to do with getting a credit card? But they get loving that logo, and that logo's everywhere. The logo and the look become more important than the customer value proposition. And it's a bad idea. But again, it's one of those things everybody says you got to do it. I think they ought to focus on making that. If they're going to use the dang gables, tell me how that's relevant to protecting my money, or tell me how we've been protecting people's money and protecting people since 400 years ago. And when you use our credit card, we're going to be sending you a message. Every time the credit card's used for you, make sure there's no misuse of your credit card. We're watching out for you. Make it relevant, or get rid of it. Marketing is a function. Because we do all these things on the left side, people start to regard us as a function. We deserve it. Because we're talking about communication, we're talking about doing stuff, instead of figuring out what are we doing to grow the business. And we've got to start looking on the right side if we're going to grow the business. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm the dean of the Central European University Business School, so they said, how do you apply that to a business school? Because, business school is a very different world, and I was a little bit afraid about doing it. Wow, that's pretty jump in the academic world. So let me just kind of show you a couple pieces. I think this is relevant to who you are. We're trying to prepare new business leaders, transformational leader for transformational time. That was quick. But that's our goal, but that's interesting. What's important is think about who you are, because you're the market, Central and Eastern European. When Darwin said the strong survival of the fittest, he wasn't talking about the strongest. He was talking about the most adaptable. In marketing, we talk about early adapters. And if there's 10 to 15% of the people in the world that are early adapters, well, that model's completely blown away in Romania and west of Central and Eastern Europe. It's about 80% of the early adapters. You have to be an early adapter because you have no choice. Change is happening all around you, and you've actually become quite good at it. We are who our students or who our customers are. So the first thing you should do is figure out who your customers look at your product. What's relevant for your customers? In this case, with students. So 70% of, I don't know why the 10 came in there. Something strange about this computer. Anyway, 70% of our students come from countries where there's been unbelievable pace of change. Think about what you're going through as a Romanian or anybody else that's from different parts of the region. Constantly changing political environment. I mean, I look at every country and I go, the thing going on between Basescu and Tăriceanu, it's great theater. Then you got this Hungarian thing between their two oppositions. At least not in the same government. But you got the same kind of crazy stuff going on. Look what's going on in Georgia. How are the crazy twins in Poland? If that stuff was going on in the West, they'd go crazy if that happened in Britain. They wouldn't know how to deal with that, right? But you guys are dealing with this kind of stuff all the time. If you're the incumbent, it's almost a reason to change, right? You've got unbelievable real estate speculation. The prices of real estate in Bucharest make no sense to me. And you go, well, they're going to come down sooner or later. Maybe not. It's a weird model, right? And it just keeps going. And you're used to it. If that was happening in other parts of the world, they'd go crazy if that was happening in Germany. You're used to it. How about rapidly evolving workforce, constant stream of new products and services? When you go, a new hypermarket opens up, you go in, and your routine purchases aren't routine at all. You got to think about new toothpaste because there's 4 new toothpaste brands. And this has been going on for 17 years. And what's happened is you become very adaptable. It's like the dogs on the streets in Bucharest. They're not normal dogs. They aren't. You go to any place else in the world, look at the dogs, they don't act like these dogs. These dogs know where to lay down, they know where to sleep, and they know when to cross the street at the light. So many dogs, and there's never a dead dog on the side of the street. I watch them. They sit there and they wait till the car stops. They say they're colorblind. I don't know what they got figured out, but they know how to read the lights. Darwin is happening on the dogs of Bucharest, and it's happening in the workforce, it's happening in the consumer. Environmentalism, social responsibility. You say that doesn't matter here. There's not a Green Party. People don't care about these kind of issues. As they care about it, it's going to grow like you've never seen, and it's going to pop up on your radar screen. If you're a marketer, it's going to show up on your radar screen, and when it does, it's too late. You got to get ahead of this one because it's going to come and bite you. You got to get out ahead of the consumer on this because if you're late, you're dead. Other 30% of our consumers, our customers, see you come from other places and they want to learn. They're adventurers. They're the early adapters from Canada, Mexico, and Germany, and they go, I want something different. I want to thrive on this change. People like me, I came to this part of the world and I can't leave because I love the pace of change. I become addicted to it. I get frustrated when I go to Denver and say, Denver's exactly like the last time I was there 10 years ago. But everything's different. I can see a big change in Bucharest just versus 9 months ago. There's flowers on the street. I think the dogs love that.